action, and service. Our meeting recording is in progress. I am your president, Wilda Ream. Yes, you heard that correctly. I haven't forgotten my name. So before we move on, I just want to share a quick personal update. I've gone back to my maiden name, and I figured I'd make it easier on everyone. So if you see an email from or a name tag for Wilda Ream, it's me. Although, of course, there's only one Wilda in York that I'm aware of. I will stop short of calling myself like Oprah or Cher. But you can always just call me Wilda. And I do realize this makes my ability to quickly find my name tag in the badge board easy. It makes it almost impossible, that I did find it this morning. I came early just in case it take a couple minutes. But anyway, back to our meeting. As you know, we start off our meeting by reciting the four-way test. Please join me. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Rotarians use the Rotary four-way test to guide our actions and words. The Rotary Club of York is committed to celebrating the diversity and uniqueness of all people, treating everyone with courtesy, dignity, and respect, and we expect the same from everyone we encounter. Embracing diversity and promoting equity is essential for the betterment of our club, our community, and the world. Today, our opening song, America the Beautiful, and the pledge will be led by Jennifer Seal, followed by the invocation by Eric Chase and visitor introductions by Michael Haiti.
Good morning. Join me. Wait, which one did you want? Yeah. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you prepare yourself in the way you're most accustomed to prayer? God, our Creator, we come before you today giving thanks for this gathering of the Rotary Club of York. You tell us to shout for the joy to the Lord, all the earth. Burst into a jubilant song with music. Make music to the Lord with the harp and the sound of singing, with trumpets and the blast of the ram's horn. Shout for joy before the Lord. We ask for blessings on our fellow Rotarian and Speaker Todd as he shares with us his dedication to the performing arts in our community through the Appell Center for the Performing Arts and on their 100th anniversary of the Strand Theatre. We give gratitude for the food we have received, the hands that have prepared it and served it, so that we may nourish our bodies to continue to its service above self. And we pray this all in the many names that we call you. Amen.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to have the honor of introducing our guests for today's meeting. When I call your name, I would ask you to stand and remain standing until the President Wilda recognizes you. First, we have Amanda Spala, AJ Myers, Mindy Haynes, and Deb Voles, all guests of our speaker. Miranda Whalen, guest of Katie Cables. Rebecca Countess and Joe Young and Annie Beck, guest of Frank Countess. David Jen Malugan, I got it right. And we want to welcome him not just to the club today, but to York. He's the new general manager at the Yorktown Hotel. So welcome. Mary Beth Ching, Barry Freeland, Jeanette Santiago Kurse, and Ray Lilly, all guests of Elaine Bono.
Visitors, we're so glad to have you here with us today. Whether this is your first visit or you're back again, it's always a pleasure to have new faces in the room. Rotary is about connection, service, and making a difference, and we're excited to share that spirit with you. We hope that you feel welcome and inspired during your time with us today. And if what you see here resonates with you, we'd love to have you consider becoming part of our Rotary family. There's always room at the table and desserts for people who care about our community. Rotarians, please help me welcome our visitors. You may be seated. And now for some announcements. The Membership Recruitment Committee meets today at 1:30 downstairs in the Mixed Grill. The Youth Literacy Committee will meet on Friday, August 29th at 9 a.m. on Teams. The Nominating Committee will also meet on Friday at 11 a.m. on Zoom. The Youth Leadership Committee will meet on Tuesday, September 2nd at 3 o'clock on Teams. The Fundraising Projects Committee will meet on September 3rd at 11 a.m. downstairs at the Mixed Grill. And now I invite past President Josh George to the podium for new member introductions.
Thank you, President Wilda. Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. As always, it's my pleasure to introduce you to some new members to our club. And as always, we will go in alphabetical order. And they have lined themselves up in alphabetical order, which is also a nice added bonus. Good work, guys. Way to go. Who knew that 3 men could do that? So first, we have Dave Cheverini. Dave, you want to raise your hand, smile, nod, do anything that you would like except something inappropriate. Dave went to high school in Wilmington, Delaware, a little place called South Sianum High School. Did I say Salesianum? Close enough? I'll call that good. He went on to Villanova University, where he earned his Bachelor of Science in Marketing, and he currently works at McConkey Insurance and Benefits, where he is a commercial account executive. Many of you may actually use Dave for your business, or you may know him as a past member of this club. And he served in our club for about 10 years ago, give or take, something like that. We tried to do the math, but it was way too complicated, so we stopped at 10 and 10. For community service, Dave is a township supervisor in Manchester Township, one of the many thankless positions that we all tried to do to help out our community. And Dave, you're a relatively new township supervisor in Manchester Township. So if anybody has any business in Manchester Township, here's your chance to hit him up. Dave's hobbies include audio narration. You'll have to ask him about that. He is married to Anna Maria, and they are the parents of Leah, who is 28, and Nicole, who is 26. And as I said, he's a past member of our club for about 10 years. He's proposed for membership by Bill Hunter. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Cheverini. Next, we have Jim Fowler. Jim went to Western Reserve Academy, which is in Hudson, Ohio, and went on to Denison University, where he earned his Bachelor of Arts degree. Jim is a senior vice president with M&T Bank, and his community service includes serving as a board chair of the Cultural Alliance of York and as a board member for the York JCC. His hobbies include golf, crossword puzzles, and time with his grandkids. And he is married to Kristen, and they are the parents of Madeline, who is 38, James Jr., who's 37, and Delaney, who is 26. And perhaps no surprise, he is proposed for membership by Kelly Gibson. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Fowler. And last but not least, we have Benjamin Neely. Ben, if you would smile or wave. Ben went to West Hill High School in Syracuse, New York, and went on to earn his associates in business administration from Onondaga Community College. And then he went on to earn his Bachelor of Science in Marketing from SUNY Oswego. And finally, not to be outdone, he earned a Master's of Arts degree in Applied History at Shippensburg University. He is the president and CEO of the York County History Center, having recently taken that role. And if you haven't had a chance to meet him as part of his role at the History Center, please stop down and visit. He will be happy to show you around and give you all the history of York County. All of it. I mean, all of it. His community service includes serving as Executive Director Emeritus for the Adams County Historical Society, a board member for Pennsylvania Museums, a past board member for the Association of Fundraising Professionals, and an advisory council member for the National Civil War Museum. You can see a connection to history very clearly in his community service. His hobbies include outdoor cooking, like grilling and smoking meats. He enjoys fishing, and he's also a fan of American muscle cars. I am sure there are some other muscle car fans in the room. Here's your guy. Talk to him after the meeting. He is married to Gretchen, and they are the parents of Cora, who is 17, and Charlotte, who is 16. And he is proposed for membership by Denny Bachman. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Neely.
Welcome to the Rotary Club of York. We're glad, so glad that you have joined us. I will say that Dave forgot a very important piece of information, and that's because he is part of the best class ever of mentorship 2015, along with yours truly. All right, you are now part of a great community that cares deeply about making a difference right here in York and around the world. We're excited for the energy, talents, and perspective that you bring. And I know you'll find meaningful ways to get involved, join a committee or two, and I hope you build some lasting friendships along the way. Rotarians, please help me welcome our new members. And now we have an important update from Ben Shipley on behalf of the fundraising committee.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Welcome new members, welcome guests. It's great to have you all. I want to get in front of you as a member of the fundraising committee to remind everybody that not this coming Monday, but the following Monday, September 8th, is going to be our annual Love for Community event. If you have not signed up yet to be a part of this great event, it is a fundraiser for your York Rotary Club to be able to contribute to making York a better place. It's great people, great games, golf, and another game are full already with registration. Cornhole and golf are off the table with full registrations, but tennis, croquet, pickleball are still available. And once you've registered, you are also invited to a 5 p.m. dinner and auction here in this room on Monday, September 8th. As part of that dinner, we're also going to be selling a new game, which you'll buy an entry for, which is going to be called Heads or Tails. So a little bit of interaction. I'd like to ask all of you in a moment to stand up once I explain the game. So if you, on the night of Monday, September 8th, buy one of these entries, we're going to stand you up during the dinner and you're going to choose heads or tails. And somebody up here is going to flip a coin. Actually, the MC of the event is going to have a microphone. They're going to flip a coin and either go heads or tails. If you're holding your head, you stay in. If the coin's flipped and it is heads, you know where I'm going with this. And you're holding your head, then you're in. If the coin's flipped and it's heads and you're holding your tail, then you're out and you sit down. Last one standing gets a prize. Today, everybody in the room is going to play, and the last two remaining will receive one of these two Starbucks gift cards. There was talk of wine being tossed around. I don't know how we ended up with coffee. Sounds pretty good to me. So if I could ask everyone to stand up for just a moment. I don't want to take too much of Todd's time. I have no idea how long this is actually going to take to get all of you seated. But we'll give this a try. Okay. See if I can do this and keep it on the stage. So at this point, everybody choose heads or tails. Don't be influenced by people around you. Pick one, heads or tails. It is tails. So everybody with your hands on your head, please sit down. Good job, half of you. All right, choose again. You can choose the same, you can choose different. Here we go. Tails again. Heads, sit down. All right. Drop in like flies. Heads or tails? Heads. Tails, sit down. Next time I'm going to bring downtown up here to do this for me. Heads or tails? Heads. Tails, sit down. How many? We've got about 8 people, 6 people left. Tails. Heads, sit down. Okay. We've got 4 remaining. We've got 2 gift cards. Hang in there. Heads or tails? Everybody ready? It's heads. It flipped at the last second. Tails down. Okay, we've got 2 winners. Thank you, guys. Which Monday are we talking about for Love for Community? Not this next one, but the following one. It's not too late to register. Please sign up. It's going to be great.
Thank you, Ben. That should add a little bit of fun to our evening on Monday, September 8th. And I just want to point out, because I love picking up trends, but 3 of the 4 people that made it to the finals were wearing a shade of green. So Dave should have wore your green shirt today, but he's still a winner. As Ben said, this is our largest fundraiser of the year. So please, if you have not already, sign up to attend dinner at the very least. If you're not a sporty person, please get to the dinner. There's great silent auction items, great auction item or live auction, silent auction items. So please, we'd love to see you there. And at this time, I will invite Elaine Bonneau to the podium to introduce our speaker for the day.
Well, good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Good to see everyone. Again, I'm Elaine Bonneau, and I have the honor of serving as the chair of the board for the Appell Center for the Performing Arts. And let me just say, happy 100th birthday to the Strand Theatre. Today is the 100th anniversary. And today is truly a momentous occasion, and we recognize the official anniversary of the Strand Theatre today, one of the iconic venues and gathering places in downtown York. And I just want to take a moment to recognize fellow board members, whether you're past or present board members, committee members, volunteers, donors, members, our staff, anyone who has supported the Appell Center over the years. I just want to personally say thank you to each and every one of you. And today, our presenter is Todd Fogdall. Todd is the president and CEO of the Appell Center, where he has served since June of 2015. So 10th anniversary just passed. So now you just need to stick around for 90 more years. We'll come back. We'll celebrate your centennial. It'll be great. In his role, Todd oversees the strategic planning, programming, and operations for this nonprofit performing arts company. He has led the 2018 renovation of the Capitol Theater, and in 2022, a successful $7.6 million capital and endowment campaign for capital renovations and investments throughout the facility, which I know Todd will share more about. A new community engagement and education initiative was launched in 2022 and is serving 15,000 community members in York County annually with over 250 program offerings. That deserves a round of applause. Before coming to York in 2015, Todd served performing arts organizations in Des Moines, Detroit, and Minneapolis. He is a proud member of this club, and he serves as the treasurer of the York Rotary Foundation. Additionally, Todd has served as president of Pennsylvania Presenters, which is a consortium of performing arts organizations, artists, and agents. Todd and his wife, Elaine, yes, he has 2 Elaines in his life. I bet my lunch money I know which one he's happier to see calling him, but funny story, not to digress, but since we're a little early. Todd once sent me a picture that he thought he was sending to his wife, Elaine, and sent it to this Elaine. Lucky for him, it wasn't anything salacious. So if you all thought that was going somewhere, yeah, no, not salacious at all. Todd and his wife, Elaine, have 2 children, 2 adult children, and 2 well-pampered cats, which is funny because I thought you were a dog person for sure. I thought you were a dog person. And I took a page from Kevin Schreiber's book before I got up here and asked you 3 rapid response questions. Okay, so first thing I asked Todd, favorite guilty pleasure food at the concession stand? He said Junior Mints. It's a good one. Favorite movie of all time? This is Spinal Tap. Oh, okay. Never seen it. I think that needs to be in my viewing this weekend. And in a movie about his life, which actor would portray him? And he said Harrison Ford. So I should have asked what would be the title of the movie, right? Harrison Ford, that's got to be, maybe that would just be a day in the life of Todd Fogdall. So anyway, please help me in welcoming Todd to the podium.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Elaine, thank you for the introduction. Thanks for bringing a little bit of levity to the to the Centennial. Thank you for your leadership, Elaine, and everything you do for our organization. I do want to again just call out my senior management team. John Schmidt, when we were standing in line at the buffet, he commented on a quote in the newspaper recently and said that was a great quote. I said, yeah, my team wrote that for me. So it's the team that does it all. Deborah Voles, who's our director of marketing, Mindy Haynes, our director of development, AJ Myers, our director of education and community engagement. He's the one who does all those 215 some programs that Elaine just talked about, and Amanda Spalla, who's our director of operations. Thank you. It is really an honor to be invited back here and again to speak on this momentous occasion, as today is the official 100th anniversary of the first performance in the Strand Theatre. And to do this, let's start by just stepping back 100 years, back to the roaring 20s. Flapper dresses and burlesque is all the rage. Streetcars were a favored mode of public transportation. Continental Square was establishing itself as the center of York, and development was rampant with new hotels such as the Yorktown and new entertainment in the form of talkies or movies with synchronized sound. On August 27, 1925, entertainment entrepreneur Nathan Appell, who already owned and operated various traveling theater troupes, other movie theaters and entertainment enterprises, he opened his theater palace, the Strand Theatre. The theater cost $1 million in 1925 and quickly became a gathering place for downtown York. While it was opened in the heyday of movies with sound, the theater always had a stage, and live performance has been part of its history since that opening night performance 100 years ago. To give you a better overview of our history, we are pleased to share this video that is making its debut today. In 1925, a gentleman named Nathan Appell and his son, Louis Appell Sr., wanted to build their trademark signature space. And they built that right down here at the corners of North George and Philadelphia Streets in downtown York, the Strand Theatre. They built it as a film hall, but it was always envisioned to also be a live performance space.
It was meant to give you the sense of a life that you didn't have, and you could go sit in this extravagance for 10, 20 cents, see a movie and be treated like a king or queen. To me, it's just magical to be in a space like that.
Right now, we're on this silent space where there's no one behind me. But imagine over the past 100 years, how many shows have taken place here and the people that cross through these doors and that experience magic.
Unfortunately, Nathan Appell passed away in 1928. He passed away unexpectedly. Warner Brothers bought both of the Strand and the Capitol theaters. The theaters were eventually sold by Warner Brothers to a company called Stanley Warner, RKO.
They got the space and then they just treated it poorly. And most of the theaters that happened to closed. And many of its like are gone now.
We're moving into the 1960s, turbulent time for the country.
And so we had big name individuals that would come to York, Pennsylvania, but then they couldn't stay in our hotels. They couldn't be fed in our restaurants. And so for a long time, there were programs that were coming to the theater that were diverse, but the environment itself was not necessarily inclusive.
And it became a very difficult time for theaters such as ours to operate. This was also the time that the first megaplexes in terms of film theaters with multiple screens were being built, and the doors were closed.
It was cold, it was dark, there was no heat, there were birds flying around.
I had a tour of the place before it opened, before the remodel in '80, and the place was a wreck.
The main hurdles were, of course, raising that much money, which was, I think only the York Hospital had raised more money in the community up to that time. The alternative was tearing it down, and making it a parking lot, which was not something that was acceptable to us.
With Louis' direction and leadership and bringing in people like Ann and Ben Hoover, they really saved the theater because they believed that a strong center core for York County was York City. And if York City survived, the rest of the county would thrive as well.
I think we all recognize that quality of life in any community is dependent upon having the arts, both the performing arts as well as the visual arts. And the community responded, and we raised the $1.25 million for the restoration.
On April 12th, 1980, the Strand Capitol Performing Arts Center reopened its doors with a performance by jazz legend Ella Fitzgerald, backed by the York Symphony Orchestra.
This is a top-notch theater. The sound is spectacular. The appointments are better than most, and it's a much cleaner theater. And I think that speaks volumes to the leadership that's here today and has been here in the past.
The really big renovation was back in the early 2000s.
So to be able to accommodate the newer shows, we needed a larger theater.
To be honest, if we wouldn't have remodeled in 2000, we wouldn't get shows. Now that is not an issue.
They continue to put money into the facilities to make them be a spot people enjoy, and they'll make every effort to get outstanding entertainment for the people of York and the York area.
We put a big push in our education and community engagement, and really finding new and unique ways to be reaching out to the young people of the community.
And so what we do today shapes the experience that we want people, all people, anyone, to have in this space now and in the next 100 years.
Being able to bring the theater into the lives of inner city children, particularly, has been a wonderful evolution for what is now the Appell Center.
For a brief moment, you look out at the audience and you see the support. You see the amount of people who have come to watch the City Kids. This kind of showed me that I was capable of more than what I thought I was.
In the middle of making music, you lose all problems with politics, religion, everything else. You're all for one cause. And it doesn't matter if the person next to you is of a different party or of a different race or religion or whatever.
It must be okay. We keep coming back.
This is our 26th year of volunteering. We enjoy it. They treat us very well.
They treat us well.
It has become a safe place for so many people. You know, I think this is something that we need to preserve, something we need to cherish.
And the more that we continue to remember and remind ourselves that this could not be if we just don't pay attention, the more we remember why we want it and we step up and take care of it.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Tetra Design, who created this video for us. They were wonderful to work with. I also want to recognize the many Rotarians who shared their thoughts in this video: Kelly Gibson, Ben Hoover, Michael Haiti, Jamie Norpel, Elaine Bonneau, and Chuck Long. I don't think there's any surprise the overlap between this club, the Rotary, and our organization. I also want to honor all of those who've been a part of our history and our organization, as Elaine said, whether you've been an attendee, whether you've been a donor, a board member, a volunteer. I'm really pleased that two of the members of the ad hoc committee that came together to save the theaters back in the 1970s are here with us today. And I hope you'll join me in thanking and saluting Dr. Ben Hoover, as well as John Schmidt. In the years since, these theaters have served as a vibrant community gathering places for live musical performances, for nationally touring Broadway shows, and for performing arts legends. We've hosted game shows and R&B concerts, spoken word performances. Educationally, we bring in improv classes and workshops and camps and interactive opportunities for our youngest audiences. Classes and performance opportunities for older students through all ages. The Appell Center, the Strand Theatre, the Capitol Theatre, this is where the community of all backgrounds, experiences, and beliefs comes together to enjoy and celebrate via the performing arts. This last photo is of the great Tony Bennett at his concert on the Strand Theatre stage in 2017 that celebrated the renaming of our umbrella organization as the Appell Center for the Performing Arts. So this fall, we are inviting the York community to help us do what our theaters have always done best, to bring the community together and celebrate. And our celebrations feature a free community day on Saturday, September 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. when we will close George Street in front of our facility to welcome Squonk, this fantastic, colorful, over-the-top family band that will anchor the festivities. They will be joined outside by a second musical stage, food trucks, other activities as well. And the party continues inside the facility with additional performances, workshops and activities, self-guided tours, silent film demonstrations, and a baby rave, which is a dance party for our youngest guests. We continue our celebrations on Saturday, September 20th with our Centennial celebration concert featuring two of Broadway's biggest stars, Sutton Foster and Kelly O'Hara. Both have won Tony Awards as Best Actress in a Musical and have multiple TV, film, and other credits as well. They are joined on stage by the York Symphony Orchestra and Maestro Galan, really calling back that performance back in April of 1980 when Ella Fitzgerald and the YSO reopened the Strand Theatre. We continue on November 22nd when we have the great Jay Leno back to the Strand. And we're welcoming back some artists who have been longtime favorites of York. Black Violin on September 27th. York's own Del McCoury, recognized as probably the most influential bluegrass musician alive today. That's on October 24th. And Jazz at Lincoln Center featuring Wynton Marsalis in January of 2026. There's much more that's going on this season as well, performance-wise, additional historical celebrations and remembrances. We have a case at the York County History Center now. If you stop over there and see some great artifacts that we have. We're running an institutional marketing campaign that we are calling For All Your Stages. Hopefully you have seen that. On September 20th, we will be unveiling a new commissioned artwork that will hang in the Strand Theatre lobby, all culminating with Gallivant 2026 on May 9. That's our big annual fundraiser, which will really wrap up our Centennial celebrations. Did I go too far? So I just want to say thank you again for this invitation. Thank you to all of you for your support and patronage, and I would be glad to take any questions that you have. Steve Whiteley.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Todd. Okay. Thank you very much for that presentation. We know each other from some stuff at the Strand. I know Lauren Crowe's performed on the Strand stage. So back in the day when the dressing rooms were a bunch of almost fire escape stairs, and that was part of your renovation. So I'm really curious going forward, what's the next step at the Strand, like 20 years from now or 10 or 15, what's the next step and what do you want to see happen?
Steve, thank you. I mean, you know, we mentioned in the video, a big thing we've really been committing ourselves to is our education and community engagement work. I think that's a big area of growth. AJ Myers does fantastic work for us and has done fantastic work in just a couple of years here, growing that program. We see that expanding and building, and, you know, so much of what we do is about the youth of York County and continuing to build that out. And look, what we do as a performing arts center and bringing in performing arts tours and opportunities, we bring the community together, and we envision continuing to do that. The arts have done this for thousands of years, and that's a big core of continuing to do that work and to make our organization and our facilities as welcoming as possible for the entire York County community.
That was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Is with the leaving of the York community of Penn State, in a way, and you have a strong management team and program development, are you in discussions, or is there any prospect that you would take over the Appell Center and incorporate that into your program development and management?
Well, that is a big question. It is something that, you know, we are aware of, that we are starting to consider. I guess I really don't have more to say about it right now. That's a fantastic facility there at the Appell Center, and, you know, we obviously want to see it continued in whatever way that might look like.
Great presentation, Todd. I know that with all the work that AJ has been doing and how much you have been really growing your educational and community outreach, and you're looking to start an endowment to ensure you can do that in the future. Can you talk a little bit about the BRIC campaign that was launched today?
Yeah, absolutely. We have launched an opportunity for you and the community to really put your name on the Strand Theatre, to have your name on a brick that's in the entryway and that alcove that you come through as you enter the Strand Theatre. There's various levels and sizes of bricks that are available, and the money that we raise for this is going to help us establish a brand new education endowment that then will be able to lay off funds that we can use to and continue to build to support our education programs out into the future. If you go onto our website, appellcenter.org, there's a masthead right at the top there that calls that out, and you can click through to find out more about that opportunity.
Todd, I just wanted to ask if you could share with so many of us that drive past the theater, what are the updates, or when can we see kind of a completion of the outside or the current construction or renovation pieces happening?
Thank you. I mean, we have been over the last 3 years in the midst of about $6 million in various renovations. We've basically replaced the whole HVAC system. We've renovated concessions and restrooms and dressing rooms. We renovated the studio space that overlooks Philadelphia Street. We've done a lot of work with sound and light equipment over our stages. And then this summer, we've really been working on the exterior of the facility. We've cleaned and sealed the false graph mural that's over on the side of the Capitol Theater there on the north side of the facility. We've had the entire George Street facade cleaned and repaired and repainted. That looks fantastic. And we have just put into place a new state-of-the-art digital signage in the poster cases there as you enter in the Strand and also on the front of the Capitol Theater. You saw some photos in the video of some interior work in the theaters, some masonry work, some plaster repair and things that we did last spring, really trying to, bring these theaters back and make them look as good as they did back on day one in 1925.
Hi, Todd.
Hi, Jody.
I just want to thank you and the staff and congratulate you on how far the Appell Center has come since you arrived. How many years ago in York? Things were not that great. I think you remember. And I just want to say thank you so much for bringing this wonderful resource back to its glory again. It's really wonderful. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jody. Jody was the one who recruited me here. So we have a little thing going. So take those comments as you will.
So it's your anniversary as well of 10 years, which begs the question, what was the biggest thrill that you've had at the Appell Center in 10 years? And what was the biggest challenge that you had to overcome?
Oh boy, first 10 years. Biggest thrill. I mean, it's hard to beat Tony Bennett. And having Tony Bennett on the stage back in 2017 as we announced our rebranding and celebrated our rebranding. It was really a magical evening, just a wonderful audience. We all held up, this was an idea of my colleague Mindy's, we all held up white roses prior to the show in honor of Louis, in honor of the city of York. Yeah, I mean, that night will always stick with me for sure. Biggest challenge, look, I think it's hard to beat COVID-19 in the last 10 years when you're an organization that your work is bringing people together and seating them together in enclosed spaces for prolonged amounts of time. Yeah, it's not a very good fit with COVID-19, but fortunately, great leadership from the board, a lot of support in that way, and support from, many in this community and elsewhere. We've come through that, and that's very much in many ways a distant memory for us.
Todd, you're always coming up with amazing programs. And my question is, how hard is it to get, the kind of quality performances to come to the Strand? How challenging is it in the market? I don't know what your competition is like and that type of thing.
Thanks, Walt. Yeah, I mean, it can be very challenging, especially when we have certain artists in mind and things like that. There is a lot of competition in this area. American Music Theater is big competition for us. There are new venues that have opened up in Harrisburg, XL Live, Midtown Arts Center in the last number of years that we now compete with for certain talent. Baltimore, Hershey, these are all venues. A lot of them are very similar to us, similar in size, similar types of theater, all competing for the same content. So yes, I mean, it can be very challenging, in a given year, if we write 100 offers, that's what we send to an agent saying, hey, we want this show to be here. This is what we're willing to pay. This is what we see the terms as being like. We write 100 offers, we might successfully land 40 of those. So yeah, I mean, it can be very tough to bring all of those pieces and to bring the shows that you see finally land in our theaters.
Hi, Todd. Great presentation, as I would have expected. Just a little reminiscing, I arrived at the Symphony just before you finally arrived at the Strand. And thanks, Jody. It was a great pick. I just want to say on behalf of the Symphony that I'm not sure that we could find a better landlord anywhere, not just in the facility and all you strive to do with the facility, but with all the camaraderie, the personal support, your incredible volunteer organization. I know Lawrence Golan loves the relationship because we occupy 3 days and nights of your facility 9 times a year. And that's a real, it's a real opportunity. So I really thank you, Todd. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Todd. It's been a little trip down memory lane for me. I was my very first job in York when I moved here 25 years ago was at the Strand. My office was over the very drafty and noisy Capitol. We did have our own bathroom, but never a fresh roll of toilet paper. But what great memories walking through is I was talking with Michael this morning, running through the dark Capitol, because you had to enter from the Strand side and run through the Capitol without turning the lights on. But what a great treasure, a great community treasure. And as Todd mentioned, so fantastic to see so many Rotarians involved. And I know there are so many others that are still involved today and throughout the years in making this truly a treasure, a cultural treasure for our for our community. The performances and programs continue to make a lasting impact. And I can't imagine what downtown York would look like without that there. Certainly 1,000 times better than a parking lot. I'd also, continuing those personal ties, when you were talking about the dressing rooms, I'm like, oh, it's a junior league. I was a member of the junior, still a member of the junior league. We went in and renovated the dressing rooms. We had our speaker series there. I spoke to a crowd of 600 and some plus people when we hosted Laura Bush for our speaker series. So I'm sure all of us have stories of how the Strand Capitol has been a part of our lives and touched our lives in many ways. And if you haven't been there, I highly encourage you to go do something, see a show, enjoy the symphony. We would not, our community would be so much darker without this great landmark here. So with that, back on script here, our speaker has signed the book to be donated to the Lincoln Charter School in York City, along with a bookmark made by students at Creative York. The book is The Oldest Student, How Mary Walker Learned to Read. And I was reading the insert, and she was 116 years old when she learned to read. She was born into slavery and learned how to read at 116. So it's never too late to try something new. Next week, we'll hear from Tim Edwards of the Susquehanna Area Regional Airport Authority. Sarah manages and oversees the economic development of the Harrisburg International Airport and Capital City Airport.
I hope everyone enjoys the upcoming holiday weekend, the beautiful weather outside. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.